over. It's over.
You don't want my place? Look out, I'm chasing stars. This ain't for the faint of hearts. Nah, stop, no I'm not. Until I drop, I'll show you what I got. You don't want my place? Look out, I'm chasing stars. This ain't for the faint of hearts. Nah, stop, no I'm not. Until I drop, I'll show you what I got. It took some time for me to get this far, and now that I'm here, I ain't going nowhere. I'm here to stay, fuck season a day, I'm season a lifetime.
Fun time recording with all of our guests, but I had a really fun time as well recording with Monae, the founder of Unicorn Remedy. It's an online skincare therapy based out of New York. She also is a radio station host for Centric Radio Centric is a radio station off of Maker Park Radio in Staten Island. And she's also a feminist, an active feminist who hosts many events, and we got to have a really good conversation about that and kind of got to talk about how creativity and that stuff work together. And it was very, very insightful and a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoy. You're also involved with Female-Centric as well.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving a little rundown about what that is?
Yeah, that's kind of perfect. Female-Centric is actually the starter of Centric, which is the radio show on Maker Park Radio. And it's a female empowerment event that I've been doing now. So it's going to be the 4th year. I'm not excited.
Oh, wow.
And I started it in Staten Island, New York, which is part of NYC. And it's really just there to empower women in general and discuss feminine prominence and have guys celebrating women and showcase female entrepreneurs, female artists, and I'm talking visual, but also performance artists and DJs and all things ladies. And also I just want to shout out to anyone that's like, people swear that I don't mess with the trans community. Yo, if y'all mess with feminine power in any way, feminine energy, I mess with you. Come to my event. You are totally supported. Stop tripping. Nobody is that serious. Just come through. Like it is what it is. So like anyone that's down with empowering ladies, you're all welcome because we're going to showcase a ton of them.
And it's a really interesting and touchy subject because a lot of people that I know at least are just like, they hear feminism and they think about the angry woman that's yelling at them, screaming at them.
Yeah.
And
they think like hairy underarms,
exactly,
right? And like a super shortcut, which, okay, yeah, we're out there too. Shout out to anyone with hairy underarms and a super shortcut. But feminism has so many faces. One of my favorite faces of feminism is Ryan Gosling, right? Like,
oh wow, I didn't even know.
Look it up. You'll find that he is a feminist, which is like my favorite thing.
Wow, really?
Young, handsome guy. And it's just believing that, you know, women can hold the same places as you. They're just as equal to you. Anyone of the feminine energy. It's like, that's all that it's about. And the first year it was like, let's discuss, you know, the wage gap and women's politics. And we still do that. But for me, it's more so about showcasing women in the powerful roles, especially when it's male dominated. Like I had Eris the chef. Shout out to Eris the chef, who used to work with Wolfgang Puck and is now in Africa teaching people to be culinary artists. And also Stephanie Finnegan, who's like a female engineer. And it's like you don't often get to see people in these positions.
Yeah,
so it's just to show other girls, like, all right, just so you know, it's possible, it's there. We're good at math and science, despite stuff that's, you know, told to us. And then we make sure to give back every year. Last year we gave back to the Good Counsel Homes, which they help out homeless mothers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's so awesome. Shout out Good Counsel Homes that are here in Staten Island, but also in New Jersey. And they basically, if you are pregnant and without a home, regardless of anything at all, maybe you used to have a home, now you don't. They bring you in. They will help you up to like the 3rd year of your child's life, and they really try to rehabilitate some of these. If you've been homeless for a while and you just found yourself pregnant, a lot of these people are special needs or like found themselves prostituting because they're on their last leg. It's like you're already on your last leg, now you have a baby. And so they just take them in and they sort of try to rehabilitate them and get them back into that way of like working and living and
getting back into society
and taking care of a freaking kid. Like imagine, like I'm a homeless woman, like I'm homeless. I chose this life or not. I'm now homeless. 7 years or so, and I'm pregnant now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, a whole other human,
like,
a whole other human
like
being.
what? When's the last time you went to the doctor? Much less to go pregnant. Like, get out of here.
Man, that I can imagine that. That's a great program.
It's crazy.
Man.
Yeah. If I was homeless, I would be so sad as pregnant. Like, I'm living this homeless life, chilling. Not saying like homelessness is the life, but but like if I'm homeless, I'm already living. The last thing I want is a fucking responsibility. I can't.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I thought they were amazing.
That is amazing. That's crazy. And then one of the things too about feminism that I think a lot of guys out there need to understand is about this is like we're on the same team like as these women. If you're truly rooting for equality, then we're on the same damn team. We're on Team Human.
right. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being in touch with your roots. Like a guy will go and do his guy thing, go fishing, but a girl can go be better at fishing than a guy. Like it's not just restricted to these things.
Yeah, it's supporting too. I think sometimes I'll hear stories from girls of like things that their parents tell them that they can do, or that their teachers tell them that they can do, and they don't realize that some of the I don't want to call it like prejudice because it's not always prejudice against like girl children, but sometimes you don't realize what's some of the ingredients that are baked into your cake. Like you don't realize that you're telling a girl that she could be a nurse instead of a doctor. Like it's just something that you're probably used to saying, or you know, one of my old panelists was talking to me about how she was like sitting. She's in a room of other engineers. Stephanie. She's in a room of other engineers. They're all men. And the lead guy, it's such a simple thing, like you're not thinking about it, the lead guy is like discussing, he's like, so if, and they all work with like electronics, like if someone's TV went off, like some woman's TV went off, she's like eating bonbons and watching a TV show, whichever TV show it would be, and he turns and goes, Stephanie, what TV show do you guys watch? Like, as if, right? Like, as if that's like, okay, yeah, no, I don't. I would have been like, I don't eat bonbons and watch TV at the same time. First of all, I don't know what 80s movie.
I'm not even sure what a bonbon
like we're in, but like it's kind of like that moment of, he didn't know. He's not thinking that could be offensive to her. Mm-hmm. He's just thinking, okay, I'm talking about women eating bonbons, and but that's like a stereotype.
It is.
It's like a woman stereotype. It's like if you pulled out, it's like if you're just a random black guy eating chicken, it's like you know not to say that. You know what I mean? But I think sometimes when it comes to women, we're not even thinking of the things.
I think I can agree with that.
You know, completely, we're not thinking about it because it's baked in the cake.
So, what would you recommend for people to be more mindful of if when talking to women, to like what kind of things to watch out for? Not to watch out for, but maybe kind of police themselves and whatnot, like, just to avoid conflict.
I think occasionally catch yourself. I think sometimes we say something and we don't realize what it is until it's come out. I think the minute you recognize what it is when it's come out, just do that retrack a little bit, like just to explain, you know, like do that retrack before they in their mind bake it into their own cake.
So think before you speak.
Think before you speak, or even sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. So even think after you speak, like think about how that affected the person that you just said that to, whatever it may be. You know, like just think about how that could have affected them. Yeah,
that's fair. And then what do you think about like, because I used to be kind of one of those dickheads where like, I don't want to hear about feminism. I was thinking about the short-haired girl with the hairy armpits.
She's there.
Yeah, she's there, and I respect her still in her own way, but I don't like you that much. screaming in my ear. I don't like you screaming in my ear.
It's like at the protest, we actually kicked her out.
So I used to be in that kind of mode, and I know a lot of guys out there are still like that. What kind of thing, I guess, would you give them as advice, or maybe kind of a little motivation, or to kind of like maybe explore feminisms or give it a chance even?
I would tell people to think of the favorite, like everyone has someone in their life that's their favorite. Think of a woman that is your favorite woman ever. It's your favorite woman ever. And just think about how you want her to have access to everything that's good for her. Whether it be like the same pay rate, healthcare, whatever. Whether it's your grandma, like think of that woman, and that woman is the new face of feminism to you. You know what I mean? And it's just you wanting them to be equal.
That's powerful right there. I mean, I've thought about like my grandma right away. I don't know. I love all the women in my life though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I care about.
It's those women we're fighting for. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, your grandma never had the opportunity to be paid the same as any man in any field ever.
When
you think about it like that, you're like, wow, grandma, You're like, that sucks.
Dang, grandma, dang.
Yeah, so you want to if you have future generations of girls, you want them to have that opportunity.
Yeah, that's true, man. I didn't even really think about it like that, like at all, because they didn't. And I come from Native American descent.
They had it even less. They had even less opportunity.
Yeah.
They had even less.
Yeah, I know my grandma went to a boarding school for Native Americans. If you don't know what that is,
one of those where they take the culture out of the kids.
Kill the Indian, save the man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
That's like legitimate. We have to explain. Some people aren't going to know that.
Oh yeah. So what that is
explain that.
Way back when a lot of people didn't have rights, the U.S. government implemented an idea, I believe, by General Pratt, and he had an idea called "Save the Indian" or "Kill the Indian, Save the Man," in which they would take natives out of, usually children. They take them out of their reservations, cut their hair, put them in regular clothes, and then give them a formal education. They beat them if they spoke their own language. They would straight up torture these kids and stuff, women and children. And in some cultures, when you cut off a native's hair, that signifies death in the family.
So, some Native Americans can't have anyone touch their hair besides a woman, whether it be their mother or their wife. So you've now just violated someone's religion. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just
way of life.
Their entire way of life.
Mm-hmm.
A forceful assimilation.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Crazy. Crazy.
And that was those boarding schools were going on till like the 70s.
Yeah.
It's fairly recent.
Yeah. And you wonder, one of my favorite things, we're getting so deep now, one of my favorite things is when people are like, but they've been here for so many years, how is it that they haven't raised up? And then you realize that fact, these boarding schools weren't stopped until the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So it means our fathers went there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
your dad. That's why it's continuing, because my dad went there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not that old. It's
not at all.
Generations deep.
Mm-hmm. It's not that old, and then it majorly impacts the women. And
right.
It's,
right.
Not only I'm not just saying Native American women, but even that idea. Well, even
speak for them, please.
Those Native American women, man, they're basically not set up for failure at this point. I can't say at this point because we are making a lot of progress and for equal opportunities and stuff like that. But 10, 15 years ago, there was shit opportunities. They're just not there.
Native American women, for me, hold a whole nother place in my heart because they are, in our demographic, the most, I don't mean it like they are personally silent, but they are the most silent because we don't have enough numbers of them represented. Especially, I have absolutely positively not one single Native American woman that has entered into, my female-centric in the past 4 years. I've had people be inspired by Native American art. I've had people bring in dream catchers, but to me, it's you've just created... To me, it's almost how do I explain it? You're almost making them artifacts. The fact that I can't bring them in. Does it make sense?
Like a museum.
Like a museum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it any other way. So to me...
Oh yeah, we're talking about Greg Trasker. That's right. Oh man, we could always cut that. But So you met Greg and you interviewed Greg and stuff? I got to interview Greg, which was absolutely amazing. I had him come onto the show and do sound healing. So it was the first show of the new year, 2018. It's January 1st. And I really wanted to discuss with my audience, my small audience that I do have, how to sort of recharge yourself, right? Let go of some of those old things that's so hard to let go of. We all have something that we're holding on to. And how to start healing yourself at home, you know? Mm-hmm. And he came on, he discussed that with us. He also discussed meditation. Yeah. He took a Tibetan singing bowl and was healing people through airwaves. So I was look, you just started. If you tuned in, you just started, so you could do it. So he kicked us off in such a good gear, and he actually brought a lot of fans through. He's a really good guy, and he's really genuine in his work it works. Yeah, it's truly powerful stuff, and I think a lot of people are skeptical about shamanism and hypnotherapy and stuff like that. So I'm really glad that you had him on your show, and I'm glad that I've had him on my show because I'm hoping to kind of break that taboo a little bit. Yeah. And then one of the things that with him, I thought shamans were like monks kind of in the robes and stuff. So when I heard I was getting the shaman, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. I wasn't quite sure. But
You think he's gonna come in with like robes, right?
Yeah,
and like something smoking,
big old straggly
Like,
beard
yeah.
and long hair.
So he's like totally new vibes,
Right?
like neo
Yeah.
shaman.
Yeah, it's crazy
I'm
stuff.
just in jeans and a shirt.
Right?
It's got the chakras on it.
Yeah. Very casual, very casual.
Yeah, very
good guy.
casual.
But I love what you're doing with your show. It's very very engaging too, and I like your second guest, that Sandra girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really powerful too. She talked about some really powerful stuff.
Yeah, she was very deep. Sandra I met in a yoga class. She was the instructor.
Okay.
And she was playing, there was something just about her. She already had this like sort of calm, like a very calm positivity. You know, there's some people that are bubbly and positive, which you catch it immediately from them, but there was something very serene, quiet, and simple about her. And she closed out the first class that I took with her with like her own neo version of what would have been like a regular Namaste yoga song, but like the Jesus version, because she's Christian. I'm all about all religions, all whatever. So I was kind of like in like the most platonic way possible, very turned on by that. I was like, there's something about this chick that I kind of got to know a little bit more of. So I started talking to her, and she ended up giving me her website, and I read her whole blog story, which is, for those of you who don't know, she was sexually violated at a very young age, but what she took from that is that she started to heal others, like later in her late 30s and early 40s. She was really angry at the world for a really long time, and then she like flipped it around and became this yoga practitioner and learned how to help people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, via yoga. And I thought that was kind of the coolest. I didn't know you could do that via yoga at first. And I thought that's a really cool thing to be able to do, is to take your pain, turn it around, and use it to help others. I'm a firm believer in the other side, and the only way I could think that pain is possible is for that exact purpose, is that you're meant to teach with it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's a really good outlook way to look on that, because our losses are our biggest lessons almost.
Yeah, almost every time, right? Like when you think about it, if you can just think about, I don't know, just like getting in trouble for taking the cookies when you were little. It's like that, you're like, that used to be your biggest thing. Well, for some kids, hopefully that is your biggest thing.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I just really wanted those cookies. But then you're kind of learning about self-control. You know what I mean? That's like your first big lesson. It's like, I want those cookies, but your mom said no. So it's either like you're going to get the spanking, or you're not going to take the cookies.
Yeah.
You know, and it's your first couple lessons. It's like, maybe you learn self-control. Maybe you learn how to take a freaking spanking. Like, who knows? But whatever it is, it's like it's your first big lesson. You're going to use that for someone else.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And that those foundational lessons always they end up growing into basically making the individual and whatnot.
Yeah.
One of the main things I was wondering, I guess, was what's the difference between West and East Coast artistry? Is there contrast, or is it?
Oh my gosh! Actually, in such a crazy way. One, it's like I feel like culture always influences the artist.
Yeah.
Like even when they're rebelling against it,
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
it's still an influence. And so I noticed that a lot of times on the East Coast you see a lot of subway inspired things, 80s graphic arts inspired things. So it's important for those people who may not know, like New York started hip hop. New York started the graffiti vibe trend. Like New York started these things. They started the club scene. Like, they started the candy club scene as we know it today, I should say, because they didn't technically start it. And so you start to see in everyone's art form exactly that. You know what I mean? Like, you get this feed of, like, as you guys were saying, coming in, like, you'd walk through the city and just hear, like, the EDM that was popping. Like, that's what the artists are playing, because that's what they're being fed into. And I think when you take it back to California, at least, because I'm from California, I feel like you get more of the nature vibes. You get more of like Sublime, if you don't know Sublime. You get a completely different influence, and it looks like mad Bob Marley art. Like Bob Marley's kids were birthed in California and they made art. Like and the vibes are so different. I can't even. I wish I could be like, here's an art piece and here's one to show you, like to show you that exactly what I'm talking about. That example.
Well, I guess it's the same even down south. It's so different too. I mean, there's
down south art.
It's crazy because they got a lot of. Well, at least I know with like African American art, it's very prevalent down there, and like especially with like the Southern culture and stuff like that, like with like the New Orleans feel and stuff. Because I was in Georgia for a little bit,
Right.
and that vibe is crazy. I wasn't there for leisure. I was there for boot camp.
Okay,
Yeah, so,
Scott, I have more questions now. Boot camp?
Yeah, I joined the army right out of high school.
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Graham, Facebook, hit me up. I want to showcase you. I want to put you out there. I want to see your art.
We want to see your art. We want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that part one more time, Dick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Any Native American women out there that want to showcase their entrepreneurship, their art, any work at all that you want to put towards the masses, let me know. I want to showcase you. We want to hear your voice. We need your energy. You know?
Need it.
Necessary. Like we need it. We're underrepresented, like I need you to be represented.
I want you guys to be represented.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
and you guys want it too. I know you guys want it.
Yeah.
You just now you guys know, and I hope you guys get a chance to reach out to either myself or Dave because we're all trying to make a positive change here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main things I like about you is because you're doing so much of this beautiful work and so bringing so much positivity to the world, and it's truly inspiring. It really is. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. It really is. It's awesome stuff. Just because I share a view and I want to expose people's creativity in a light that creativity can improve the quality of life and whatnot, and that is just damn near essential to making it at least enjoyable and with all the negativity in the world and stuff like that. So, I mean, is there anything else you have for me? Otherwise, I have one more question to wrap this up.
Oh my gosh. No, but I have tons of questions for you after this.
All right, yeah, right. We can
battery's left.
We can hash it out.
I have some questions.
Yeah. Well, then I guess my last question for you is, I call it my golden question, is how does what you do, whether it be Maker Mark Radio, Unicorn Empress, Unicorn Remedy, how does that improve the quality of life, not only for yourself, but for others as well? I know we went over a lot of it, but...
So for me, all of that gets to feed this artistic side of me that I don't get to feed in any other way. Half of the work of the art, or I should say of the artist, is getting it out there so other people can be inspired, and as you say, you can improve the quality of life for others. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. Is it feeds that artistic side, and then I get to take that artistic side and feed a nation of other artists, and convince them like we're hoping to do to send us art, to showcase, to be out there, to pursue your passion, as difficult as it may be. It gets harder. It does nothing but get harder.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
No,
it's not. It's
no.
not. It's none of this is.
The minute you decide to do it, it gets more difficult.
Yeah. And the more you want to do more, it gets even harder.
Yeah, it gets it doesn't get any easier, but it does get more rewarding.
Exactly.
And it grows. It grows.
A lot more satisfying, and like you said, rewarding and truly inspiring, especially when you get to work with other artists and stuff.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. All right. Well, awesome. I think I got a lot to learn from you. It was truly an honor to have you on. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I hope to hear from you and probably work with you in the future.
Yeah, it was an honor to be on this podcast.
Oh, awesome. I'm flattered.
With you and your bear arm. I wish you could just show all these tattoos. They're bad cool.
Maybe I'll display them later. I don't know. Just kidding.
This was wonderful.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thank you. All right, that's about it. See you guys later. Or later, guys.
Two old friends, they both got luggage and they're sitting there waiting on the same train. Like two used books, both labeled damaged, hoping somebody will pick them up and read again. Like the blind hope to see again. Like suffocated lungs, hope to breathe again. Like Jesus on the cross, just wanna be again. But she can't be with him, he can't be with her. And now they're two old friends with their feelings hurt. Two old friends, they both got luggage and they're sitting there waiting on the same train. Then the train came, so they